read to me the nameplate?
Judge Eboni K Williams.
So the only thing that matters in this particular courtroom is how I see it. I am from North Carolina by way of Louisiana with some West Coast cool and a New York edge. Do we have a problem, ma'am?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Equal justice is all about the most important values of our country: freedom, integrity, and those are the things that I'm striving for. Ma'am, you run your household, this man gets to run his. I decided to become an attorney and pursue the law. I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless. This court cannot hold this woman accountable. People from all sectors of life, black, white, purple, gay, straight, queer, and that's what equal justice with Judge Eboni K Williams is all about.
Molly Bartlett claims the defendant stole her secret recipe and name of her famous apple pie and hurt her sales at the county fair. Sarah Ferguson says the plaintiff is jealous because her pies tasted better and hurt her rival's sales.
Ladies, I see that we've got Miss Marley Bartlett here as my plaintiff and Miss Sarah Ferguson as my defendant. Ms. Bartlett, you are suing the defendant for $3,600, you say, for lost wages. What brings you to court today?
Your Honor, I am an outstanding member of my community. I am on many associations, the Women's Chamber of Commerce, the University Board. In addition to that, I am a great, amazing baker. I have been baking for 25 years, and I have made a name in my community for my baked goods, particularly my Molly famous apple pie. Everyone loves this pie.
That bears your name, Molly
Exactly.
famous apple pie.
Exactly.
Okay, so you have a bakery or a baking business.
I have a baking business.
Okay.
We do not have a storefront, but I do supply baked goods to other bakeries.
Okay.
We also cater, and we also do large events that have to do with politics.
And how long have you been doing this baking business?
10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
Okay, so this is, you're a long-standing businesswoman and community member, as you have told us.
Exactly.
Okay, so talk to me about your relationship with Miss Ferguson. Where does she fit into this?
Well, Miss Ferguson, I had met her at one of the events at the university about a year and a half ago, and we've run into each other a few times at these events. And she took my interest because I felt like she could be like one of my sisters. I said, you know what, one of my younger sisters, she mentioned she was interested in baking. She mentioned she wanted to open a bakery one day. I said, you know what, let me help you. If you like, you can come and you can apprentice under me, and I can show you some of the ropes.
So you kind of took her on as like a mentee of sorts.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me ask you this, Miss Ferguson. Had you had any baking experience prior to working with Miss Molly here?
Yes, Your Honor. Growing up, I baked cakes and I baked cookies, not so much pies. Like Miss Bartlett said, like she is a staple in our community for baking pies. So when I asked her to apprentice under her, it was more in the hopes of learning more about baking pies.
Okay, so you wanted to expand your portfolio, so to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you have a business component to this? You wanted to, because do you sell any baked goods already? Let's talk about that.
No, so I'm currently in school for business right
so you're
now.
a student?
Yes, I'm a student.
Okay.
So this was more of, I have had an interest in becoming a professional baker, like Miss Bartlett said.
So almost like an intern?
Yes.
Okay, so this all sounds quite lovely, actually. Each one teach one. Where does this thing go wrong, ma'am?
Here's the problem. She would not follow directions. She would just go left. Whenever we had like a recipe, or she just wouldn't follow the directions. She just felt like she knew everything, which that happens a lot with the younger
people,
generations. They think they know everything.
Don't say that, okay.
So, we had a few issues where her pies didn't taste that good. And I know she noticed that I didn't think they were that great. So I think she took that and got a little upset.
Okay.
So before I had a chance to sit down with her and talk to her, I said, you know what, let me do something fun and let me go ahead and share my recipe with her, which is my recipe has been passed down from my grandmother to my mom.
So this is one of your pies?
This is one of my pies, my apple pie, my Molly's famous apple pie.
So this is the most coveted
recipe. That
is
is the coveted one.
The Molly's famous apple pie.
And no one knows the recipe.
Okay.
We keep it under wraps, lock and key.
Can you buy this anywhere else?
You cannot buy this anywhere else. This is our pie.
This is an exclusive.
This is an exclusive.
And you share this exclusive recipe with the young intern.
Exactly. I shared it with her thinking, oh, she'll be able to make something that'll taste great finally, because we were having difficulty with
So you
some
shared
of her.
it, because this is important to get to, Ms. Molly, your intention for sharing it. So
Yes.
you shared this for her to get inspiration?
Yes. I wanted her to it seemed like she lost her motivation.
Okay, so this was to inspire her, motivate her.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And I clearly told her she cannot share this recipe with anyone. She cannot use it. And this is a trademarked recipe for my family.
But is it
only.
really? Or is that just something we say?
It isn't really.
Okay.
But
See, that's important now, Ms. Molly, because you are in a court of law. So when we say things like copyright and trademarked and all of that, those have legal implications.
Right.
So let's just instead say it was a well-guarded secret.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
Sarah had opened a booth of her own, selling the same apple pie, calling it Sarah's famous apple pie.
I see.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a dispute between Molly Bartlett and Sarah Ferguson over lost wages.
You're suing her for $3,600. That's a lot of money, ma'am. How do we get to that?
Well, basically, I have my
Okay,
banking
give all of
statements
your
here.
evidence folder, please, to Elijah. Go ahead and give everything to Elijah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you put it all in the folder,
Oh, okay.
and then I can review that.
Okay.
Because now I'm wondering, is there a contract between you and this young lady?
There isn't. We just had the verbal agreement that she would not share the recipe and she would not use it. That was
Okay.
our agreement, our verbal
And
agreement.
I'm judging by the look of these apple pies in my courtroom that agreement was breached.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So where I sell my pies is at the fair, at the
Okay.
county fair, and I have a booth there. I've had it for 10 years, and we're blue ribbon winners and all that. And for this year particularly, Sarah had opened a booth of her own, selling the same apple pie, calling it Sarah's famous apple pie.
I see.
And with the same logo, and I believe it's the same ingredients.
Now you say you believe that, and you base that belief on what, Miss Molly?
On tasting it.
Okay, so you went and bought her pie?
I did buy her pie.
Okay.
And I did go over to taste it, and aspects of the pie were very similar. Very similar.
Okay. Now, I'm also looking at a bank statement. I'm looking at August of 2023, you deposited $3,640. I'm seeing the next year, August of 2024, you deposited $3,600. But I'm seeing the next year, this most recent one, you only deposited $740. That's quite a
Yes.
big difference.
So those previous deposits of $3,600 was my normal amount that I would normally make at the fair.
Okay.
And due to the fact that she had her booth and basically stole my recipe, people were a little confused as to whose pie were what pie, plus she lowered the price.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. How much was the Sarah's famous pie selling for as compared to the Molly's price? What was your price, Miss Sarah?
$15 a pie.
And what was your price, Molly?
$20.
That's $5 difference per pie. So how much money did you make at this fair?
For the fair, I made a total of $1,800, but
$1,800.
But I spend total about $840 on ingredients.
Are you referencing receipts and things, documentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead and give all of your evidence to Elijah as well.
Of course.
Put everything in the folder. Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. Thanks.
Okay, so I see that we've got two businesswomen here, one budding and up and coming, one a well-established community patron. We've got lots of apple pie, and I have not had lunch. That is hand to God. So Elijah, will you please do the honor of bringing me both ladies' pies so we can really see what this really is?
You want them together or separate?
Let me see. Let's see the most fair way to do this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close my eyes.
Okay.
So Elijah, I'm trusting you. Retrieve one pie from each lady. Sit them before me. Okay.
think they bought one for me too.
Oh, well, that's nice. Now, you're not gonna eat on the job, are you?
Done.
Okay. This is delicious. Okay. I see. This was very, very good. Very sweet, but not too sweet. Let me try the other pie. Get some crust. That's my favorite part. This is very good as well, but it's very similar. I don't know that I taste a difference. Now, Miss Sarah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Elijah. Are you arguing that you used a different recipe? Because you are conceding that Miss Molly graciously did share her secret family recipe of her famous apple pie with you. You are conceding that.
I'm conceding that yes, that she shared the family. She shared a family recipe with me.
And I'm looking
yes.
at that recipe, by the way, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, in the court, and I'm seeing it's very exact. It's not just the ingredients; it's the proportions. I mean, this is all literally here in black and white. And she gave this to you.
Yes, ma'am. Well, she said it verbally to me.
Okay.
So what happened was after, like Miss Barlett said, like we were kind of going through our apprenticeship. And during that time, Miss Barlett was very kind of demeaning. I know I came to her, I was trying to be encouraged and really wanted to become a baker, hence I came to her. She just is such a perfectionist and just snapped on me easily on very simple things, whether I like added too much sugar here, added a slight bit more spice here. And so when she came to me about the pies, I really wanted to impress her. But when I made her the pie, she said it was the worst pie she'd ever had in her life.
Is that true, Miss Molly?
I may have said something like, you know.
It leaves a lot to be desired.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But also, was it a bad pie?
It was a bad pie. To me,
yes.
I felt like the flavors were overwhelming.
Okay.
Like with,
So let's stop you right there.
okay.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
I had a graphic design friend design mine. I'm sure she had a hand-drawn artist do hers. And at the end of the day, there's only so many ways you can make a pie and show that it's an apple pie.
Let me stop you, Miss Sarah.
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a dispute between Molly Bartlett and Sarah Ferguson over lost wages.
Sarah, you admit you are a student. You are learning in the business. Is it at all possible that your pie was just whack?
Not whack to the point where it's the most terrible pie you've ever tasted.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know what this lady has eaten. It is possible that it was the worst of the worst, ma'am. And isn't the whole point of an internship to get better?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do we expect to get better, young lady, if we can't take feedback?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So how does all of this, though, end up with you ultimately? It looks like to the court you might be duplicating this woman's marketing scheme. Let's let everybody see what these logos look like. Let's first see Miss Molly's famous pie logo. This is very beautiful. We got a nice traditional looking deep dish apple pie with the crossover topping, it looks like, and a beautiful apple beside it. Now let's compare this to Sarah's famous apple pies logo. Now, Sarah, let me tell you, this is similar coloring. It's very similar with the style of the traditional cross-braided top of the apple pie, down even to the actual red apple sitting beside it. How is your brand distinct?
Well, Your Honor, I do think our brand's pretty transformative in a way. I had a graphic design friend design mine. I'm sure she had a hand-drawn artist do hers. And at the end of the day, there's only so many ways you can make a pie and show that it's an apple pie.
Let me stop you, Miss Sarah. This, first of all, we all have had enough pie in this courtroom to know that you've got all different ways the pie can even look. It's just, it's giving knockoff. It's giving knockoff.
Gotcha.
Now, I've now actually tasted both pies, and they taste virtually indistinguishable from one another.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
I hate to say that I agree, but I guess there was a point because
You
I
can
know
just
when
say I'm right, Miss Molly. It's okay.
This is Equal Justice. Equal Justice is back with a dispute between Molly Bartlett and Sarah Ferguson over lost wages.
Essentially, you copy and paste her pie and logo and pull up right next to her and undermine her business model. How else am I to see it?
Well, our recipes themselves are different. The
Oh, what's different?
ingredients.
What's different?
The ingredients, ma'am. So I use Granny Smith apples and a different array of spices in mine, particularly mace, which as a baker, gives it that slightly different taste and feel.
What spice did you name?
Mace, M-A-C-E.
Okay, I'm not seeing it on the recipe list, but go ahead, ma'am. Okay.
On the defendant's one, they look very similar, so
Okay.
I think that's all.
Yeah,
that
that's
is.
the thing.
Yeah,
Ain't that the truth? They
Yes,
look
ma'am.
very similar,
Yeah.
and that might be why Your Honor is getting confused. Okay, so let's now get to what everybody in this courtroom wants to know, Miss Molly. Why in the world would you voluntarily offer up this coveted, multi-generational family recipe to what essentially is an unknown stranger to you?
I felt like we had made a connection. We talked about our families, we talked about life. I felt like she was the little sister that I never had. I felt like,
How long had you been in communication with her?
About 1.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
In passing, Your Honor, she worked at my university, but we weren't close in the way that
I was
she's
going to say,
portraying.
Miss Molly, it sounds like you are romanticizing this little sister type figure that perhaps you wished you could have passed things down to. Would you agree?
I hate to say that I agree, but I guess there was a point because
You
I
can
know
just say I'm right, Miss Molly. It's okay. You can just say, Your Honor, yes. That is correct. Do you have children?
No, I do not.
Okay. I think we all kind of see where this is going.
Judge Eboni's verdict when equal justice returns. This is Equal Justice.
You seem like a very kind person, Miss Molly, truly, and a decorated and accomplished baker. And I certainly wish there was more I could do for you today. But unfortunately, you have not given me sufficient evidence, ma'am, to justify a lost wage claim of $3,600. You literally gave her the keys to the castle. This court cannot punish her for that. Now, let me get to you, young lady. It's very, very rare in today's economic and professional climate that someone even takes the time and willingness to teach you anything. And you return such gratitude and favor by doing something that I deem to be unkind. I think you played into the ingenue, intern, little sister role to your own advantage. That said, the court is unable to find in the plaintiff's legal favor, but I do wish you the very best. Delicious pie, Miss Molly.
Thank you.
The court dismisses the plaintiff's claim. That is my ruling.
All rise.
Judge Eboni has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is dismissed.
Any final thoughts for each other?
I think this was a big waste of time, and I'm sorry.
I think you could be an amazing baker. You could just take some direction and come up with your own ideas. You have it in you. You can do it.
Okay. Judges made a ruling. Please grab your belongings.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.